Music industry tips. In this video, I'm going to explain how the music industry has changed completely. Be sure to stick around for the whole video if you're looking to build a career as a musician.
I gotta put my hand up and admit it. Think I really might have blown it.
It is no longer the 1960s or even the 1990s, the heyday of music where you made millions of dollars selling your physical products of music online. It's all gone digital, and that's no surprise there to anyone watching this video. We're really only seeing this big shift in the last decade, and who knows what the next decade, 2 decades will bring. Let's get into the lessons that I've learned now over the past few years as an independent musician that hopefully will help you. Lesson number 1, goals and focus. Now, it sounds obvious, but the most important thing you can do if you are an independent musician and you're looking to make it big, the best thing you can do is write down your highest level goal of where you want to go in 5 years from now. Try to make it as long-term as possible without losing sight. 5 years is usually a good long-term period. 10 years is just way too far away. But in 5 years, you can say, I want to play a show of 10,000 people, or I want to have 30 million monthly listeners on Spotify. 5 years is enough time to get to those really big goals. And then you can break down each year and the sub goals that you need to execute in order to get that high level goal. But if you don't know what your high-level goal is, then you're going to be just going through a maze year to year, doing different things, and not really sure what you're trying to execute. So you need to make sure you have a very specific high-level goal that is long-term, that you can make sub-goals to and execute those sub-goals on a yearly basis all the way down to a weekly basis so you can get to your high-level goal. So let's take an example. Let's say you are an independent musician and you want to play a show at Carnegie Hall in New York City, and that's your goal. So the first year, what are you going to do? The second year, third year, fourth year, to the fifth year, hopefully where you're doing that show. And so some of the sub goals that we can break down are, well, you need music to perform. You need a really solid live set. You need to start getting fans. And so these are all sub goals that can be broken down on a yearly basis and weekly basis to get to that ultimate end goal. Once we have our high goal in place, then we actually have to start breaking down the yearly goals all the way to a weekly basis, all the way to a daily goal basis. So every day you're doing really, really small goals that are tied to that end goal in some fashion. The next step is just focus. Once you have these goals written out, all you need to do is execute them. And so focus is key in getting rid of all other distractions in place of that goal. No matter what they are, removing all those distractions and just focusing on those goals and letting time pass. And once those goals are starting to complete themselves, then doors will open and you'll start seeing the end in sight. So that's lesson number 1, which I think is important to any musician, no matter what genre you're in, no matter what you want to do. Having goals and focus is huge. Even if you're an entrepreneur in business, it's the same exact thing. So lessons 2, 3, and 4 can be tailored differently depending on what your goals and focus are. So lesson 2 would be finding different streams of revenue as an independent musician. You won't be able to just rely on selling your music and getting money off streams anymore. The take on a stream is just so minimal. You can't rely and you can't put all your time and energy in just hoping that you'll make it and get paid enough on a monthly basis with Spotify streams. That won't work unless you're a really, really big artist. So try to find other areas where you can make revenue. A couple examples are a merchandise store, a YouTube channel, playing live shows on Twitch TV and linking it to a PayPal account, writing courses on your experience touring in Europe and selling those courses online. Live performances, play live as much as you can and get paid from these live shows. There are many different streams to make revenue as a musician, but it's important to find the ones that you can focus on, maybe choose 5 or 6 and put the time and energy into those 5 or 6. And eventually over time that will start to snowball and you'll start to make revenue each month from those channels. Lesson number 2 is don't solely focus on one revenue stream, but branch out and find different layers on the cake. Lesson number 3 is don't forget to practice. Obvious one, I know, and everyone's heard about this 10,000 hour rule. I don't really think you need to practice 10,000 hours, and the focus shouldn't be on the quantity of practice, but the quality of practice that you can do at some type of frequency and consistency that is regular. So if you're a guitar player, a piano player, a singer, that you're sharpening those skills frequently and consistently, hopefully every day for at least half an hour a day, so you can keep sharp and that you're ready when you need to perform. But it's quite easy to get overwhelmed with everything else and then just lose sight of that practice. And so it should be put in place of your weekly plan to keep up with practice. Lesson number 4, and the last lesson, would be to become T-shaped, to become a T-shaped musician. And what I mean by that is become a generalist in a lot of different areas inside the music industry, but make sure that you're going deep on something. So if you think of a capital letter T, it has the top part where you want to become a generalist in multiple different facets within the music industry. So you want to know songwriting. You should, if you're writing your songs, you'll know about that already. But if you're not writing your own songs, you should know about songwriting. You should know about the production process, the mixing and mastering process. You should know about the marketing. You should know about the design. You should know about the live performance. There's so many areas inside of the music industry, and you want to become a generalist in each of those different verticals. You don't have to become an expert. So I'm not saying spend hundreds of hours becoming a producer, but you want to know, okay, how can I make a beat? How can I get in like Logic Pro X or Ableton or some type of digital audio workstation and build a small demo? That doesn't take much time to get to know, but you do want to become a generalist inside those verticals so you can have a wider breadth over the music industry, and so you can start putting patterns together and pieces together, and you'll feel more confident, more comfortable in your own skin as a musician when you start becoming more knowledgeable in these different areas. And the vertical line in the T, you want to make sure you're going deep in something. You do want to be an expert at least one thing. So whether that is production or guitar playing or singing or marketing or business, you want to make sure you're deep in one area so that you are an expert at something and you can rely on that. And in general, it'll just make you a more comfortable and confident, independent musician inside the music industry. So those are my 4 lessons that I learned inside the music industry, and hopefully they will be good music industry tips for you. If you're an independent musician, feel free to link your music in the comments below and let me know other lessons that you've learned in the music industry that have helped you along the way, so that hopefully we can help other independent musicians watching this video. Feel free to subscribe to this video if you've enjoyed it. I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and I'll leave a couple links to my own music in the description below, and I hope to see you in the next video.